my name is Dave, and in this video I want to talk about arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators are math operators like plus sign, minus sign, and I have a form app. I just called mine Arithmetic Operators. You can call yours whatever you want. I have two text boxes, and let's go ahead and dock this properties grid. So I have two text boxes. The first one is just text box 1, just using all the default values here. That's fine for now. Second one's text box 2. I have a label 1, and I have two buttons here. I have two buttons, right? The first one, just keeping the default names. That's fine for now. If you want to change them, that's fine. Just go to the name property. And what I did change is the text. So in button 1, I just changed the text to demo. Of course, you can change yours to whatever you like. And this button here, I changed the text to a plus sign. So I just put a plus sign in there, and we'll use that in a little bit. We'll make a simple calculator, right? So this is my GUI, right? My graphical user interface, my form. So now I want to go to the code behind, and I can hit F7. Right-click View Code, or already have the file, the .cs file. The .cs is the code behind. I already have that open, so I can just click here and toggle back and forth. So I'm at the code behind. I'm going to go ahead and hide this, put the properties grid on auto hide. And so once again, I'm in the buttons click event, right? I'm in this buttons click event. I just double click there, and that double click, and that put me in the click event, right? This click event. So every time you click the button, this code executes. And so make sure you're within this the code block, right? You set up a click event. Just double click on that button, and make sure you're within the code block if you're following along. Hopefully you are. So I have one variable here called answer, and it's of type double, right? And I just gave it a default value of 0.0. 0 would be fine. Actually, the .0 here would be implicit, so 0 is fine here. But I like to, since it's a real number type, a double, it takes a decimal number, decimal value. I like to initialize it with a 0.0, right? It's just something I like to do. So, and also if you don't give it anything, it actually has a default of 0.0, but I prefer, just for clarity's sake, to go ahead and initialize it with 0.0, right? So we're going to use this throughout this demonstration, and so I'm going to go ahead and uncomment this first couple of statements. So the first arithmetic operator is that we're going to talk about is the plus sign, right? The plus sign. So what do you think the plus sign does, right? Just like a calculator, it just adds two numbers together, right? So this is just going to add these two numbers together, get the result, put the result in this box, right? This variable called answer, and then like we've done before, we're going to convert this number type. It's a double, right? Answer, this variable holds a double. It's a number, it's a numeric type, so we can only assign strings to text properties and print to screen, things like that. So when we're assigning here, we have to convert it to a string. We can only assign a string here. This text property only holds a string. See the string there? That's telling you that's what data type that property holds, right? It's a string. So we have to convert this number type, double number type, to a string, right? And Control Z. Okay, so and this has it's one of its members is to string, right? And all it does is converts that to a string, right? So we convert it to a string. So let's go ahead and run this, and we're assigning it to the text property on the label. The text property on the label. So when I click the button, this code should execute, and there you go. So 140. So 110 plus 30, 140. Put it in here, in this box that holds a double. Convert it to a string. Assign it to the text property on that label, right? And once again, the text property is right here. It's the same. This is the same, right? Same. This is just, we're accessing this property through the graphical interface, right? This graphical properties grid. But here we're accessing it programmatically through the code, right? We're accessing it through the code, and this is how we do it. We use the name of the control, right? These are controls. We need the names of the controls, and the names up here, and that's how we access these controls programmatically. All right, so that's the plus sign. Let's go ahead and comment that out. Pretty straightforward. If you ever use a calculator, this should make perfect sense, right? So 255 minus 55, and pretty much same sort of thing here, just subtraction. 195, 250 minus 55 is indeed 195. So C# knows how to add and subtract. So let's see if C# knows how to multiply. 55 times 3, 165, right? Okay, comment that out. You gotta hit the right button. Alright, so uncomment that, and there we go. Okay, so now let's see if C# knows how to divide, right? 210 times 40 is 5, right? And then it is indeed 5. So let's comment that out. So there you go. So that's pretty straightforward. This is basic elementary math, right? Plus sign, minus sign. The asterisk or star is the multiplication sign, and the forward slash. This is the same key as the question mark next to the shift key. So same key as the question mark, forward slash, not the backslash, forward slash, right? It's going this way, forward slash. Backslash goes this way, right? Forward slash goes this way. So actually, let's draw that, right? So the forward slash goes this way, all right? Backslash goes this way, right? Okay, so the forward slash is the division operator, right? Okay, so let's take a look at this one. See, we're combining these arithmetic operators. I keep wanting to say arithmetic operators. It's actually arithmetic. Arithmetic would be the noun, right? So arithmetic, math. Whereas if you use it as an adjective, then it's pronounced arithmetic for some reason. I don't know why, but so it's arithmetic operators, right? So here we're combining arithmetic operators together, right? The multiplication and the minus. So we're multiplying 55 times 3 and then subtracting 15. And C# is going to maintain the order of operations. We'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, let's go ahead and run this. So it should be 55 times 3, and then minus, which is what, 165, and then minus 15, so we should get 150, right? So there we go. So we can combine these arithmetic operators together. Okay, so let's look at this. We're going to talk about the order of operations. Remember the order of operations, PEMDAS. Remember PEMDAS? If not PEMDAS, maybe please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Those are mnemonics to help you remember the order of operations, right? The P in PEMDAS stands for parentheses. So the very first thing to do in the order of operations is whatever's inside parentheses. Whatever's inside parentheses. So C# is going to do this first. C# follows the same order of operations that you learned in algebra, right? Way back in the day. C# follows that same order of operations. Same order of operations. Whatever's inside parentheses is calculated first. Whatever's inside parentheses is going to look for those. It starts from left to right, and whatever's inside parentheses, that's what it's going to do first. So in this expression, C# is going to do this first. 5 times 25 is going to be the first thing it does, right? Because of the parentheses, right? So we got the PEMDAS. We use PEMDAS P parentheses. E is for exponents. If we had any exponents, it would do the exponents next, right? We don't have any here, but M, multiplication. So first the parentheses, second exponents if we had some, and then third, whatever, it does multiplication, right? So then it's going to do this. So it's going to do this first because of the parentheses, and then the multiplication, right? And then my dear aunt, or what we're using PEMDAS, PEMD. M is of course multiplication, D is division. So after the multiplication, then it gets the result of this, and then divides by the result of this. So then it does the division, right? And then the addition and then subtraction. So PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition and subtraction. That's the order of operations, right? So took you back to school a little bit there. So it's the order of operations. C# follows those order of operations. So if you ever want to do something different, if you want C# to not follow the order of operations, then you would use the parentheses, right? You could use, say you want, for whatever reason, you want C# to do this first. Then you just put it in parentheses, right? Now it's going to do this first, and then this, right? Because of the parentheses. So let's go ahead and run this. So it's following the order of operations, and the answer is 55. Now let's look what happens when we put this in parentheses, and we should get a totally different answer. And the answer is 6, right? So a totally different answer. So the parentheses told C# to do this first, right? So C# follows same order of operations. I know you, for some of you, it's been a while since you've been at school. It's been a while for me. Hopefully you remember the order of operations. But it's pretty straightforward. The PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, those are helpful mnemonics. So, okay, so modulus, and that's it for just those basic math operators. Let's talk about something called the modulus. Modulus, what the modulus does is gets the remainder. I'm going to attempt to do some writing here with a mouse, which is not, I have poor penmanship anyway, but especially with a mouse, so we'll give this a shot here. Okay, let's look at a problem with 13 divided by 4. All right, 4 goes into 13. Right. All right, so take you back to elementary school, right? So 4 goes into 13. How many times 4 goes into 13? That's 3 times. Okay, so 3 times 4 is 12. Right? 13 minus 12 is 1. So now we have a little remainder, and Mrs. Grace would be proud. Okay, so we have 4 goes into 13. 13 divided by 4 is 3 with a remainder of 1, right? With a remainder of 1. And this is what the 1, that's what the modulus gets. That's what the modulus gets. That's all the modulus gets. Right? It doesn't return, it doesn't give you the value of the division problem. It gives you the remainder. It gives you the remainder. This is all it gets. So let's look at this. So let's go ahead and run this. So 13 modulus 4. 13 modulus 4. Yeah, I assume that's how you would say that. Okay, I'm not a mathematician, but it sounds good to me. Okay, so 1, right? So it gets 1. So 13 modulus 4. And so it divided 4 into 13, got the remainder of 1, and that's what it gave us, right? So the modulus, that percent sign, gives us the remainder, right? It does the division, but it only gives us the remainder. It looks for the remainder, right? So that's all it's going to give us is the remainder, right? So that is the modulus. And let's look at one common use for the modulus, which is to figure out if a number is even or odd. If a number is even or odd, right? So look at 63 modulus 2. Let's try this one more time, right? So 63 divided by 2 is what? 31. Okay, it's really hard to write with a mouse. Okay, 2 times 31 is what? 62. Right? 63 minus 62 is 1. So we got a remainder of 1, right? So, and this is what the modulus gives us this remainder. Well, the thing is, if you divide by, I forgot to comment that. Okay, so if you divide by 2, if you divide an even number by 2, an even number by 2, let's do that real quick. We'll just do, try that again. 2 and 10 divided by 2. 2 goes into 10 5 times, 5 times 2, 0, and no remainder, right? No remainder. So the remainder is 0. There's no remainder. This is true with every even number. Any 20, 100, 1,000, any even number. If you divide any even number by 2, you will get 0 remainder, right? This is basic math. 0 remainder if you divide any number by 2, right? So if the modulus gets a remainder, so if it does not get a remainder, if the remainder is 0, if it does not get a remainder, then you know it is a even number. If it does get a remainder, then you know it is a odd number, right? So let's check to see if 63 is an even number or an odd number. All right, and of course we know it's an odd number, but you may have numbers where you don't know. You may have numbers generated or something. Here we're just putting in a literal. It's a trivial example, but and of course 63 is a odd number, right? So let's put in an even number. Let's put in a number 50, right? So 50, of course, even number. So that now it should say even number, right? Even number, right? Okay, and you could even, if you want to get a little fancier here, you could do it like this. And let's go number. We have to convert this to a string, right? We use a concatenation operator. Is an even number. Okay, so we're going to take this. So this time we're going to use a variable. Copy and paste. Control C, Control V. We're going to drop this in a variable that holds an int. And now we're going to do the calculation. We're going to use the variable here instead of the literal, and put that in this variable. We're going to check to see if the remainder is 0, modulus is 0, and if it is, and then we're going to take that what's in that box, convert it to a string. So we can only assign strings to this text property, right? And then we're going to concatenate it with this, right? So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so 50 is an even number, right? Okay, so now let's look at how to average numbers. We're going to average some numbers. And this might take you back to the Clyde. If you did the Clyde the computer exercise, remember that? You had 5 boxes and numbers and all the boxes and all that good stuff. So we have 5 boxes, right? We got our 5 boxes. Clyde has his 5 boxes. We have this box called sum, right? And have a box called answer. You can call yours result, result, answer, whatever. Okay, so I have 5 boxes, 5 variables that hold an int, right, of int type. And I'll just put numbers in each one of the boxes. Here we're using the plus sign, right? The addition operator, right? To add these values together, whatever's in this box. Take out what's in this box, num1, and add it, and take this number out and add those two together. And then add the result to this, and then whatever the result is, add that to this, and then the result to this, right? And all right, screaming meanie. Okay, so get the result, add all these up, and put them in this box, this variable called sum, right? And then divide that, whatever that is, divide that by 5, because we got 5 boxes, we got 5 numbers, right? Okay, so sum divided by 5, so we got 5 boxes, 5 numbers, so we add them all up, we get the sum, and then divide that by 5, right? And that gives us our average, and then we convert it to a string and assign it to the text property on that label. And there you go. So the average for these numbers is 2,370. Okay, so now I want to show you how to get a percent using the a percent formula. There's 1% formula. There are other ways, but that's one way to do it. So I have two variables, both of double type, right? And I'm just using 100 and 25. So we're going to figure out what's the percentage of whatever number is in this variable. What is 25? Right, what percent of this is 25 basically, and we know it's 25%. So we're using something simple, so we can see if our formula works. Okay, so num2, which is whatever's in this box, I'm going to multiply it by 100. 100 is a constant in this case, and so I'm using, if you remember, the cross multiply divide method for finding a percent. That's what I'm using here. So let me write this out. Okay, so let me write this out. Okay, so all right, 100 is a constant here. It's a constant, so we want to find out what percentage of 100 is 25, right? So my penmanship is bad anyway, especially with the mouse. So we're doing the cross multiply. We multiply 25 by 100, 25 by 100, and then divide by 100 in this case, right? And these are the values that we're using now. The 100 here is the constant, so we use that no matter what values we have here. So this isn't the 100 here. That's just the value that we happen to have in there. That can be anything, but this is a constant, right? This is a constant, so that's always going to be the same. So it's whatever's in this box, whatever's in this variable, multiply it by 100, our constant, right? And then divide it by that, whatever that is. And note too that these parentheses are not necessary here, because C# will follow the order of operations, and multiplication comes, remember PEMDAS, multiplication comes before division, so it's going to do this first. But I would prefer to go ahead and put the parentheses in here just for clarity's sake, just for my clarity. So it does this first, going to multiply this by 100 and then divide that by whatever's in this box. And again, this is just one expression to get a percent. There are others. Okay, so this gives our percentage, and then here we take this, whatever's in this box, right? This holds a double type, so we have to convert it to a string. Actually, we don't have to in this case, because the plus sign will do that for us implicitly. But I'm going to go ahead and do it explicitly, me telling it to. And the plus sign is going to concatenate these strings together. This is just a percent sign, right? So it's just concatenating, joining these strings together. Have a variable called foo, whatever foo is. Foo is an old thing that coders use. If you can't think of a name for something, you just call it foo, right? So couldn't think of anything creative, so I just called it foo. So okay, so assign this, whatever's in this variable called foo, just assign it to that text property. And 25, what percent of 100 is 25? 25 is 25% of 100, right? So, and let's try some different values here. Just 500, and we'll go with 50. So what's the percentage here? We're trying to find the percentage of what percentage of 50 is 500 is 10%, right? So 50 is 10% of 500. Okay, so let's look down here. Go ahead and uncomment this. Uncomment this. Okay, so here I'm using the format. I'm using this format. I'm going to throw this at you. You may not have seen this before. We're going to talk about the format method in the video string play. So we're going to get more in depth with this, but just want to throw it at you right now. And this basically it's a placeholder. So we got the curly brackets and this 0. This is basically a placeholder, right? And the 0, these you can have as many arguments as you need here, separated by commas. So this first one, it's index, right? So it's index 0. So basically when this runs, this gets dropped into this placeholder position, right? And if we had another argument, that would be here, right? So we could, we could have as many as we need. And the next one would be 1, 2, 3, right, etc. So this is in the 0th index position. Is only 1, and it gets dropped in here. So that's what that 0 is, index position, right? And it's between the curly brackets, right? So that's what this method does, format method. There's a lot of ways to format strings with this method. So we'll talk more about it in the video on string play. So what the colon does is says you're going to use a specifier, a format specifier, and the P can be lowercase, uppercase, doesn't matter. The P just means percent. So you're specifying, you're given a format specifier to format this as a percent, right? So we're going to format this as a percent. But the way it works, we need to move the decimal over 2 places to the left. So that's all I'm doing here by multiplying whatever the answer is by 0.01. What that does is moves the decimal over 2 places to the left, right? So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and comment this out. We don't need these now. And let's go ahead and run it. Alright, now 10, it's still 10%, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you how to create a very simple calculator. Okay, so I have a button. I've got a plus sign in the text property, right? Just put a plus sign here. Here the plus sign is just text, right? It's just plain text there. It's not an operator or anything. It's just plain text. And I have 2 text boxes, right? I just kept the default names, text box 1, text box 2, and then we have the label we've been working with. We're not going to use this button here this time. So I've double clicked on this button to set up this click event. So every time a user clicks this button, this code block will execute, right? Okay, so you see this double.parse. Parse is a static method of the double type, right? That does make sense. Don't worry about it. Just note that it's there and that you can use it, right? And you access it with this dot, right? And it's the member access operator, right? So the parse, what this does is converts a string representation of a number to a double. It converts a string representation of a number to a double. So let's say we type in 100 here. 100, if we type it in a text box, it's just a string. It's just plain text, right? It's not a number. You can't add it, or it's just plain text, right? So what this does, this parse, it looks at that, it parses that string representation of a number and converts it to a double. So it's going to take that 100 or whatever it is you type in the text box, whatever number you type in the text box, it's going to convert it to a double type, right? So now once it's a double type, then we can do numeric operations with it, right? Then we can add it. We use the plus sign operator, the addition operator, and we're doing the same thing with the second text box, and we're just going to add those two together, drop it in this box, this variable called answer, and we're going to take that, convert it to a string. It's got to be a string, right? And then assign it to this text property on the label, right? So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so let's see, 333 plus, just put up some numbers, and we can put decimal values as we're working with doubles. So as you click on the button, it should execute that code, and there we go. So let's try something else. See, 500 plus 20. 500 plus 20, right? It's 520, so there you go. This isn't a very robust calculator. Granted, we couldn't type letters in. It might blow up on us if we type letters, anything other than a number. So it's not very robust, but just a simple calculator, but it's good for now. And so let's use a different operator. Let's use the division operator, right? The forward slash. Let's go ahead and change it here too. We don't have to because it's just plain text, but it just to make it look good. So put a forward slash here. That's the division operator. Here it's just plain text, but we want that here. So, and in the code we have, now this is the operator. This is the division operator. So it's going to divide this number by that number, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. Okay, so let's put in, let's say 1,000 divided by 50, right? So we'll go ahead and click the button, and once I click the button, it'll execute that code block, which does the division expression, right? So 1,000 divided by 50 is indeed 20. So there you go. It's a pretty simple calculator. That's it for arithmetic operators. Thanks for hanging in there, and I'll see you in the next video.